The dim glow of neon lights flickered across the crowded bar in downtown San Diego, casting long shadows over sticky tables and half-empty glasses. It was a Friday night, the kind where sailors fresh off deployment flooded the streets, chasing the high of freedom after months at sea. Among them was Sergeant Kira Valdez, a 28-year-old undercover operative for the Marine Corps Elite Special Operations Unit. She'd been deep in a classified mission for weeks, blending into the chaos of military towns to track a smuggling ring preying on vulnerable troops. Tonight, she was off the clock, or so she thought, dressed in civilian clothes. Simple black tank top, jeans, and boots that hid the scars of 100 battles. Kira nursed a soda water at the bar, her sharp eyes scanning the room not for fun but for threats. She looked like just another local, tough but unassuming, with her dark hair tied back and a faint smile that masked the predator within. Little did anyone know she was a ghost in the machine of war, trained to kill with her bare hands, a woman who'd taken down terrorists in the dead of night without a sound. But tonight, fate had other plans. A burly Marine, fresh from the USS Abraham Lincoln, staggered over, his buddies egging him on from a nearby table. He was built like a tank, tattoos snaking up his arms, reeking of beer and bravado. "Hey, sweetheart," he slurred, leaning too close, his breath hot on her neck. "You look like you could use some company." Kira's pulse stayed steady. She'd faced worse. "I'm good, thanks," she replied calmly, turning away. But he didn't take the hint. His hand clamped onto her arm like a vice. "Come on, don't be like that." The bar tensed, conversations hushed. And if you're loving these heart-pounding, real-life stories of hidden heroes and epic comebacks, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss an upload. Let's build this community together. The grip tightened, bruising her skin. And in that instant, the Marine crossed a line he couldn't uncross. Kira's mind flashed to her training: assess, adapt, neutralize. But she was undercover. Blowing her cover could unravel months of work. Still, self-defense wasn't optional. "Let go," she warned, her voice low and steel-edged. He laughed, a guttural sound that echoed off the walls, and yanked her off the stool. Glasses shattered as she stumbled, the bar erupting in murmurs. His friends cheered, thinking it was all in good fun. But Kira's eyes locked on his cold, calculating. He shoved her against the bar, pinning her with his weight, his face inches from hers. "You're mine tonight," he growled, oblivious to the storm brewing. The bartender reached for the phone, but Kira shook her head subtly. "No cops, not yet." This was personal now. Adrenaline surged through her veins like fire, memories flooding back. The loss of her squad in Afghanistan, the betrayal that hardened her into the warrior she was. She wasn't just any woman, she was MARSOC's finest. A phantom who'd infiltrated enemy lines and emerged victorious. But here, in this grimy bar, she had to play it smart. With a twist of her wrist, she broke his hold, her elbow slamming into his solar plexus. He gasped, doubling over, but rage fueled him. "You bitch," he roared, swinging a wild fist that grazed her cheek, splitting the skin. Blood trickled warm down her face, and the crowd gasped. His buddies jumped up, closing in like a pack of wolves. 3 against 1 or so, they thought. Kira's heart pounded, not with fear but with the thrill of the fight. She backed toward the door, buying time, her mind racing through escape routes and weak points. The tension thickened like smoke in the air. The jukebox's country twanged, the only sound cutting through the standoff. The lead Marine, let's call him Jax, from the name tape on his faded camis, charged again, his massive frame barreling toward her. Kira sidestepped with precision born of countless drills, using his momentum to flip him over. A table. Crashes echoed as chairs toppled, beer spilling in foamy rivers across the floor. The bar patrons scattered, some filming on their phones, others shouting encouragement or warnings. Jax's friends lunged. One grabbed her from behind in a bear hug, the other aiming a punch at her ribs. Pain exploded in her side, but Kira channeled it into fury. She stomped on the instep of the man behind her, feeling bones crunch under her boot, then drove her head back into his nose. Cartilage shattered with a sickening crack. He howled, releasing her. The third swung wildly, but she ducked, sweeping his legs out from under him. He hit the ground hard, wind knocked out. Jax was back on his feet, eyes bloodshot with alcohol and anger. "Who the hell are you?" he spat, wiping blood from his lip. Kira stood tall, wiping her own blood with the back of her hand, her stance shifting into fighter's guard. "Someone you should have left alone," she said, her voice steady but laced with venom. The bar was chaos now. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone must have called it in. But Jax wasn't done. He pulled a knife from his boot, the blade glinting under the lights. Gasps rippled through the crowd. This wasn't a bar fight anymore. It was attempted murder. Kira's training kicked into overdrive. Knife fights were her specialty. She disarmed insurgents in close quarters where every second counted. Jax lunged, slashing wildly. She parried with her forearm, the blade slicing fabric but missing flesh, then countered with a palm strike to his throat. He choked, dropping the knife, but swung a haymaker that connected with her jaw. Stars burst in her vision. She tasted copper. Falling back against the pool table, she grabbed a cue stick, wielding it like a staff. The crowd formed a circle, phones up, capturing every blow. "Get him, girl!" Someone yelled. Jax's friends recovered, one tackling her from the side. They pinned her down, Jax looming over with fists raised. "Time to end this," he snarled. But Kira wasn't pinned for long. With a burst of core strength, she bridged her hips, bucking one off, then kneed the other in the groin. Free again, she rolled away as Jax's boot stomped where her head had been. The sirens grew louder, MPs en route. She couldn't let this expose her. In a blur, she disarmed Jax fully, twisting his arm until it popped at the shoulder. He screamed, collapsing. His buddies, battered and bleeding, backed off, hands up. Kira stood over them, breathing heavy, her body a map of bruises and cuts. The bar fell silent as military police burst in, badges flashing. Everyone freeze. But then, the twist no one saw coming. As the MPs cuffed Jax and his crew, one approached Kira with caution. "Ma'am, are you okay? We need a statement." She nodded, pulling out a hidden ID from her boot, classified, Black Ops level. The MP's eyes widened. "Sergeant Valdez, MARSOC." Whispers spread like wildfire. Jax, on the ground, looked up in horror. You're one of us." The revelation hit like a grenade. Kira wasn't just a victim, she was a legend in the Corps, undercover, tracking the very smuggling ring Jax's ship had unknowingly aided. Turns out, his harmless night out was laced with guilt. He'd been coerced into looking the other way for extra cash, part of the ring she was dismantling. The fight. It forced her hand early but exposed him. MPs hauled him away, his bravado shattered. Kira refused medical at first, but a fellow operative in the crowd, her handler, slipped her a nod. The mission was compromised but salvaged. Back at base later, bandaged and debriefing, Kira stared at her reflection, swollen eye, split lip, but unbreakable spirit. She'd lost squad mates to men like Jax, cowards hiding behind uniforms. This wasn't revenge, it was justice. Weeks later, the story leaked anonymously online, videos from the bar going viral. Kira, still undercover, watched from afar as Jax faced court-martial, his career in ruins. The smuggling ring crumbled under the evidence her bar fight unearthed. She visited the graves of her fallen brothers, whispering, "Got one for you." Empowerment surged through her, not from the wind, but from surviving, from turning pain into power. She wasn't defined by the attack, but by rising above it. The bar reopened, a plaque now on the wall, in honor of the unbreakable. Kira moved on to her next mission. A shadow among heroes. What a night of sheer chaos and triumph. Kira's story reminds us that strength hides in the quiet ones. If this had you on the edge of your seat, smash that like button and share your thoughts below. From which part of the country are you watching this video?